Monopoly. Everybody loves to hate it, everybody hates to love it. It's a staple board game in many family homes. Whether or not you play it for the enjoyment of ruining the consistency of every single one of your relationships, it is truly the board game of all time. Recently, I had a version of Monopoly stumble into my hands with what I consider the heinous, worst version of Monopoly that I've ever seen. It is not remotely different in any way, shape or form to regular Monopoly, more than it's about the contents of the box, which I feel like ruins the definition of what this game is supposedly meant to stand for. And I do not mean Monopoly as a whole, I mean the name of the game of this box. It's Monopoly Deluxe, 1972. This game really pisses me off. I don't know how to convey my emotions about a board game which I hold very dear to my heart and explain it in a way where you can understand that Monopoly Deluxe is one of the worst deluxe edition games and or board games in existence that I quite frankly don't believe for any given reason it needs to exist. Now, is it really as bad as I truly say that it is? Not necessarily, but it's the principle of the fact that it does not deserve the deluxe title. It prides itself on being a deluxe version of the game, with specialized tokens, a special banker's tray, ooh, special, and a title card holder, which doesn't make any sense. If you're like me, you're a simpleton. You use what's in the box to help you understand where each individual item is meant to go. The whole point of this deluxe edition is to give you more things in the box to place more things from inside the box onto, which not only adds more clutter, but more unnecessary items in the box itself. What's the point of a banker's tray? The majority of monopolies, even ones before 1972, included a regular rack that you could place your money in. And the title card holder is one of the worst dreidels that I've ever seen. It spins, which is fun, but it's not how it's meant to be used, but it's the only thing that I use to stimulate myself because it is quite frankly useless. They seem to have thought that adding something to hold the cards would be revolutionary. Do you not see the problem? When the majority of monopolies before this game, this specific version, already included holders of plastic that could hold the cards. Oh, it is the whole point of this to now just take the plastic out of the box and place it somewhere else. I just don't necessarily see the point. It seems really excessive for no other reason than wanting to be complicated and wanting you to shell out extra cash for an identical version of every other monopoly with added plastic. Now, I'm not one to typically buy monopolies online. There are a few that I willingly do find. This is what you will find inside of the box. Notice how there are a few things scattered here or there. Of course, this is a pre-owned Monopoly. Now, what you expect to see here is relative to what you expect to see in a regular copy of Monopoly Deluxe. I actually own two specific versions of this 1972 version. So typically, I tend to find a lot of my Monopolies in charity shops. You may call me a hoarder. I like to collect board games that I actually like to play. I play each individual version of Monopoly that isn't a gimmick Monopoly, because the majority of gimmick Monopolies aren't actually Monopoly, more than they're just using the title of it to sell some asinine product like Monopoly Cheapest Edition. I still hate that. It's the only version of Monopoly I still have sealed, because I quite frankly just don't want to touch it. Now, as you can tell, with the majority of these monopolies that you may find in places like charity shops, eBay, etc., they may typically have worn out boards. Is this necessarily a problem? No. And quite frankly, The older designed boards are more fun, because instead of being in a standard 2x2, they're typically in a, I'm actually not really sure what this specific shape would be considered. It's like I'm trying to order something at a restaurant. Maybe that's what the deluxe edition is about, because the board can bloody turn into a menu. But I digress. These older style boards are some of my favourite designs. Because yes, the boxes are a bit more of a pain in the ass to deal with, however, they're much more sleek and compact. While you could argue the 2x2s are more compact because, you know, you can fold them more times, they technically take up more space, and so does this also technically. I guess it depends on preference. I prefer these. These are known to be getting really bad creases down the middle. As you can see in at least a few places where the board just begins to tear really, really badly, which sucks. So it's a pain in the ass to actually keep these in a really good condition. Now, in terms of other things, I do think the deluxe edition of Monopoly is a perfectly fine version of Monopoly, despite my criticisms. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to shit on it, because it's a version of a game that I enjoy. If I believe there is an issue with this board game, I will say something about it. Because quite frankly, how could anyone settle for a so-called deluxe edition of a board game that barely innovates and actually makes the attempt to do something with its brand? Now, you could argue a lot of themed monopolies and gimmick monopolies kind of share that sentiment, in the sense where you know what you're buying. With something like this, what are you buying Monopoly Deluxe for? The specialty banker tray? Or the spinny bit? Why do you want the spinny bit for the cards? It doesn't make any sense why you would want the spinny bit for this card. Like, I just don't understand the appeal of wanting this. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen, and it's hard plastic too. Like, it's pointless. Wow, you could put cards in this? Who would have guessed? Because, like, if you didn't tell me you could put the cards in this, like, oh, wow, it's almost like you could put it in the regular box, like it was nothing before. Because, look, all you can do is not spin it. Wow, like, you're paying a premium for a basically non-existent, useless-ass accessory, which is more useful as a dreidel and or spinny top than it is as a regular card holder. When this gets too compact with every card on here, it is just so annoying to grab cards from. Sometimes I've had issues with not this specific version, because I own multiple Monopoly Deluxes. The cards will get stuck, and I don't know why that is the case. But something about the hard plastic on here also tends to rip the property cards, at least cuts them ever so slightly each time that you place them onto the holder. At the end of the day, I just don't see the point. It just seems completely unnecessary. In terms of things that you get the standard stuff, you get the rules, you get the property cards, you get the money, you get the houses and hotels, and now, usually I'm a bit iffy with the houses and hotels, because a lot of different versions of Monopoly actually use wooden houses and hotels, but those are particularly older class Monopolies. This is the Deluxe Edition, and as you can tell, the mold has not been changed in like over 50 years, because these are identical to the new ones. The money is nice, but it's just not that interesting. The community chest and the chance cards are just blank cards with a bit of text on them, which is fine, I guess, if that's something of interest really. The spinny top, which is basically useless, please disregard the dice. Again, this is a second-hand one, but this spinny top really annoys me. It has no reason to be this weird, and it adds nothing to the game. If anything, they could have just added another tray for the cards in there, like it's so extra. What I do appreciate about these older Monopolies is the pieces. Now, I believe these are made out of brass. I'm not 100% sure, because some of the Monopolies I own actually do have brass pieces. And these are really nice. I do like the shine they have, and the weird, like, goldish tint that they have. Same with them being completely different models as well. At the end of the day, what were they thinking? It doesn't make sense to release a monopoly in this state where you're paying extra for more plastic which will mostly go unused. Now, I understand that it's just an option, but it's a principle. Some people don't even place their property cards in the trade, especially in the newer ones and all the ones that may have come before this. So, you know, some cards get left about, that's here or there, but again, there's people's preferences, there's people's options. What is the point of this option? It makes it so convoluted and annoying to use that, quite frankly, the price cap on this must be more pricier than the regular version just because of this hunk of plastic. Have you ever heard of that one single bit of plastic that was made exclusively for the NES, where all it did was hook your controller into it? It's basically that. They're making a they're making a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. You don't need this, just have the tray. Like, what's the point of the banker's tray? Oh, you're gonna take the cash out of the box? The majority of people I know and the majority of people who play Monopoly keep the cash tray in the box and just move the box around. Which, yes, it's more annoying to move the box around. But again, it's the principle. You have the option to do it, but why did you make a completely separate tray for the banker when they already have it? That's not a new feature. Like, it just seems excessive. A board game like this doesn't realistically need to exist. And I don't believe for a second that usually the price point is worth it. Deluxe? What is Deluxe about this? It's just regular ass Monopoly with more plastic inside of it. I don't even know what to tell you. I'm not even going to end this video off on a high note because, quite frankly, it annoyed me so much. Anyway, this was my Monopoly review of the week. I hope you hated it.